So I really wanted to tell y'all how much I appreciated y'all coming on this legislative visit. I think it was really important. But I'm kind of curious about what you thought about the visit and why you decided to come and be a part of this.
Yeah.
Well, this issue is so serious that it felt like a moral obligation. When I got your invitation, I don't think I would have thought to visit my senator's office on my own. That was way too scary. But getting an invitation and knowing somebody was going to make that happen, I knew I couldn't say no.
And I was kind of in the same way that one, I was like, oh, she thought that I would want to do this. So there was an honor for that. But I've never been this out on a limb about something. I've never gone to a representative's office because even though I felt strongly, but this one I had to get out of my chair and out of my house. God was pushing me. I had to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I echo that. I feel really grateful that I got the invitation because I don't think I would have done it otherwise. There's so many things I've been thinking about and hearing and trying to voice, and I think it was just that extra step of having an invitation and having other friends to go with that really made it seem like a viable option, because I have so much that I feel compelled to say as a mom and as a clergy person, and I didn't feel, like you said, it's a moral obligation. I have to say something,
right?
And I'm glad that I had the chance to say it in a place where it might be heard more.
Right.
For me, when I started hearing about these news stories through Justice for Our Neighbors and Raices, and seeing them in a few places, I just I cry a lot about them, but I found myself really searching for ways to engage and things that we could do, because I feel so strongly that we have to be doing something, and if we're not, then we're being silent in the face of evil. And so I'm grateful that I found an opportunity via just continuing to rally people. That's how I got invited into this. And so yeah, I'm really grateful that the more you work to agitate, you tend to find people that are co-agitating you.
And truly, it is part of our baptismal vows, to resist evil and injustice in whatever forms they present themselves. And this is such a great way to do that.
And I think that there are groups in any location that offer us these kinds of opportunities. Texas Impact was the one who gave me kind of the red flag that this is coming on the hearts and minds of many Americans, but particularly being in a border state in Texas. And so I guess we're being called to action now. What are we going to do next? What can we tell folks to do?
I know that very pointed prayers have been happening. In our congregation, I have preaching about what does Jesus compel us to do, and what does loving your neighbor look like? We're not just talking about our neighbor that was born in this country. We're talking about our neighbors. Our neighbors are everybody, and that Jesus' view of neighbor is so much bigger than what we have shrunk it down to. So I think there's that, but worship is the place where we have the most people we can impact, and the Holy Spirit works there in ways that we have to help.
Yeah. Well, laity can answer the call too. There's no reason to wait for permission or find a group. I think one of the things that we learned at the office today was just even the entry level writing an email to your senator is a great first step to doing some kind of action on helping to change this. Include your name, include your zip code, and let your representatives know what's happening and how you feel about it as a Christian and as a constituent.
I think another thing I heard today was really that you can call. When you call a regional office, it's one of the ways that you can have dialogue more so than in an email or a letter. And so having that kind of dialogue on the phone is such an opportunity to speak with the staffers in these offices. And really, if you go in that place knowing that you want to have a dialogue, and not that you're just going to call and talk at them and have a monologue and call them names and assume so many things about their role or their position in all of this, you're not going to get very far. In fact, today he told us, you know, he might collect your zip code and say thanks and have a
If it's
nice
just a
day
monologue.
if it's just a monologue
Yeah.
or talking at him. But he said that's his job, is to talk to constituents, and the opportunity to have a dialogue and a phone call is really meaningful for both the person calling and for the staffer in their office. And so I think that's a really important next step, and all you have to do is pick up the phone.
Well, and I also heard call the regional offices if you really want to talk to someone, because there's only one office in DC and there's only so many people who can answer the phone. And so you have a higher probability, and they take down everything that we say and send it, he said make sure both the senator would hear it and the policy rep for that,
Right.
the immigration policy person would get stuff. So
Right.
I think the phone call really,
And
it's helpful.
I think also to recognize that, you know, while he met with us today for almost an hour, he wasn't taking phone calls.
Exactly.
So just because you're not getting through
Right.
doesn't mean that they're not listening or that you should stop trying.
Right,
But
exactly.
they're not really staffed to handle the kind of influx of voices that are
What did we
speaking
see?
up about
3
this.
people there today.
Yeah.
The person at the front desk, the person
Yeah.
we met with, and someone who was listening to messages and working on a computer.
Right.
So it's hard.
And they did say they had a point of never turning away anyone who came to visit them, but that it makes it easier for them to have a longer conversation with you if you make an appointment to come and see them. And I don't know these ladies very well. These aren't my best friends that I
No.
went with, and some of them I just met today.
Exactly.
And so you don't have to have your own posse to go. You can find colleagues or people, your neighbors, anyone who shares these interests and concerns with you, and make an appointment and see your representative or senator.